Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, my dear students. How are you? Everything okay? Here is Pakistan School Salala, subject General Science. I'm your science teacher, grade 4, and we are studying here, my dear students, unit 10, and that is heat. My dear students, here are our learning objectives, and that objectives are we will learn in these videos that heat. What is heat? What do you mean by heat? And how can we measure the heat? That we use the instrument that is called thermometer. And to make this thermometer, we use two types of scales that are called temperature scales. So my dear students, in these videos we will learn inshallah what is heat, what is thermometer, how does it work, and what are two temperature scales. My dear students, here is the thermometer. What is a thermometer? A thermometer is an instrument used to find out the temperature. So my dear student, we use an instrument called thermometer to find out the temperature of something. So my dear students, temperature is a measure which tells us how hot or cold something is. A thermometer, you can see in this picture, my dear students, a thermometer is made up of a thin glass tube with a bulb at the one end. So you can see here, this is a bulb at one end, and this bulb has mercury in it. So mercury is present in one end, and that end is called a bulb. So when the bulb is dipped in a glass of warm water, the mercury starts to rise in the tube. So you can see here, my dear students, a thin tube that contains the mercury, and when this bulb is dipped in a glass of warm water, the mercury rises in the tube. When the bulb is dipped in a glass of cold water, the mercury falls. So my dear students, in this way the mercury rises when the bulb is dipped in a hot object, and when we dip this mercury bulb into a cold object, the mercury falls. My dear students, you can see here the temperature scale. My dear students, in our daily life we usually use two types of scales. One is Celsius scale and second is Fahrenheit scale. So my dear students, the glass tube of a thermometer has marking on it, and this marking is called temperature scale. The level of the mercury on the scale shows the temperature in degree. So my dear student, you can see here there are two types of temperature scale. One is centigrade scale and other is Fahrenheit scale. In centigrade scale there is a different marking as compared to Fahrenheit scale. So my dear students, two types of scale is used in our daily life. That is, one is Celsius scale, or you can say centigrade scale, and other is Fahrenheit scale. My dear students, here is the Celsius scale. So my dear students, two types of scale are temperature scale used in our daily life. One is Celsius scale and second is Fahrenheit scale. So the glass tube of a thermometer has marking on it, and this is called Celsius scale. As you can see, this marking is called temperature Celsius scale. So in case of Celsius scale, you can see here, my dear students, the freezing point of water is 0 degrees centigrade. So 0 degrees centigrade is the temperature of water at its freezing point. And my dear students, the highest point in this Celsius scale is 100 degrees centigrade, and this 100 degrees centigrade is the boiling point of water. So my dear students, in the Celsius scale, this scale have two marking. Number 1, which is at the bottom side, this is 0 degrees centigrade, and this 0 degrees centigrade is the freezing point of water, and at the highest point of this scale is 100 degrees centigrade, and this 100 degrees centigrade is the boiling point of water. My dear students, the next scale is Fahrenheit scale. My dear students, the next temperature scale is Fahrenheit scale. This Fahrenheit scale is different from the Celsius scale. So its starting point is 32, whereas the ending point is 2 and 2. So my dear students, the difference of point in between 32 and 212 is also 100. So my dear students, in this Fahrenheit temperature scale, the freezing point of water is 32, that is equal to the 0 degree centigrade. And my dear students, the boiling point of water in Fahrenheit is 212. So 212 is the Fahrenheit scale, that is the boiling point of water. So my dear students, the degrees in between the 32 and 2 and 2 is also 100. The difference of degree is total is 100 in between the 32 and 212. So this is called Fahrenheit scale. My dear students, so there are two temperature scales, that is, one is Celsius scale and second is Fahrenheit scale. So my dear students, the boiling point on Celsius scale is 100 degree, whereas on Fahrenheit it is 212, and freezing point of water in Celsius is 0 degree, whereas the Fahrenheit freezing point of water is 32F. So my dear students, these two scales are used in our daily life. One is Celsius scale and second is Fahrenheit scale. So my dear students, nowadays a digital thermometer and a plastic strip thermometer are also commonly used beside these thermometer, that is the mercury and clinical purpose. And these temperature scales are called Fahrenheit scale and Celsius scales. My dear students, here is the activity for you. You can do this activity at home as well. So my dear students, temperature scale, that is the freezing point. How can you determine the freezing point of the thermometer? So my dear students, to mark the temperature scale on the glass tube of a thermometer, stand the bulb of the thermometer into ice cold water. So here is the ice cold water for a long time, or for at least a minute. So mark the level of the mercury in the tube as 0 degrees centigrade. And my dear students, this will be the freezing point of water. So my dear students, when you stand the bulb of a thermometer into ice cold water, it will give you the 0 Celsius temperature, and this 0 Celsius temperature is the freezing point of water. My dear students, now you can determine the boiling point of water or temperature scale for boiling point. So my dear students, to mark the temperature scale on the glass tube of a thermometer, you will stand this bulb of the thermometer in a boiling water. So here is the boiling water. So my dear students, stand this thermometer bulb in a boiling water for at least a minute and mark the new level of the mercury as 100 degrees centigrade. So my dear student, this 100 degrees centigrade is called the boiling point of water. So in this way you can mark the temperature scale as freezing point and boiling point of water on the glass tube of a thermometer. My dear students, you can see here the temperature scale. How can we mark the temperature scale on the glass tube? So my dear students, here is the bulb thermometer that dip into the ice cold water, or you can say the ice, and this will provide you the freezing point of the water, that is 0 degrees centigrade in the Celsius scale, or you can say 32 Fahrenheit scale. So my dear students, in this way you can determine the freezing point of water on these both scales. In the next diagram you can see the boiling water. When you dip this thermometer into the boiling water, you can determine the boiling point of the water, and that is in Celsius scale, my dear students, it is 100 degrees centigrade, and on Fahrenheit scale that is 212 Fahrenheit scale. So my dear students, in this way you can determine the freezing point and boiling point of water. My dear students, is the laboratory thermometer. So laboratory thermometer are different from clinical thermometer. My dear students, they are made of either metal or a glass. So here is a glass thermometer. So they are used for precise measurement of the temperature or temperature changes during the lab experiment. So my dear student, you can see here laboratory thermometer, that is one bulb that contains the red in color. So this bulb is red in color that contains alcohol. So my dear student, this is the structure of a laboratory thermometer.